Hey everybody, happy Monday, happy equinox. The light is returning here in the Northern Hemisphere, and I know that I could not be more pleased about that. Very, very happy for the return of the sunshine. I hope that this finds you well. Thank you for tuning in, whether you are watching on YouTube or listening. I'm posting these on my podcast, The Wisdom Within now. However it is that you are tuning in, thank you for joining me here today. Let's go ahead and dive in and see what energy is at play for the week ahead. So there's, what originally opens up is like this bouquet of roses. And then there's this one single rose that comes up and out of the bouquet, and it sort of unfolds like a scroll, like a long scroll of paper. And what the picture turns into is as if this scroll is kind of life size. Like the paper when you used to trace your body in school when you were little. It's that sort of size paper. And it's a very long length, and it's a scroll, and you're sort of working with a pen here or, some sort of writing instrument. And it looks like you've been at this for a while. Like there's a lot of different markings, some, places where you've tried to erase it and change it, but it's sort of the whole like trajectory of your life that I'm looking at here on this scroll. It's like a timeline in a sense. And when I'm looking at it, it's like you're, a certain period of the way down the paper, and everything above you, everywhere you've been working already is, again, like there's marks and smudges and places where you've crossed things out and added things and edited. It's like these parts of the paper are full. This is, life that has been lived. These are like lessons that have been learned. And then below you, where you are on the paper, is totally blank. So this is literally like you in the timeline of your life, essentially like writing your story. So what's happening here? You're like really, really tuned in on this one particular detail where you are in this moment, in this particular spot on your journey. And you're almost rubbing the pen in so intensely that it's almost like it makes a hole in the paper. There's something that you're like really working with right now, or really chewing on, or that's really itching, that's really demanding a lot of your energy and attention here. So can I get some information about what this is? It's like there are big things that have been at play that are coming together for you right now. It's like off to the side, I'm sort of seeing this image of almost like these hills, like big hills that are sort of coalescing, coming together. And it's like this energy of things that have been at play are sort of converging right now. Can I get some more information about what that is? And you're sort of trying to figure out how these things fit together. And I'm sort of seeing like these two big sort of mounds, and they're both things that you've wanted, or that you've been working towards, or that you've been aiming for. But now, like that they're here, or they're on their way, or they're coming, or you can see them. Now the issue is, well, how do I actually make space for this? How do I actually integrate both of these pieces, or all of these pieces, together in my life right now in this moment? And there's some anxiety about that. There's a lot of processing that's going on around that for you right now. So what is this? There's kind of because the ink is really black. So there's like kind of a dark, heavy energy on this. And I want to take a look at what that is. Well, there's a lot of pressure that you have to decide. Like I have to decide, I have to make a decision. And that there's like, either this or that is sort of the energy. Where is that coming from? Because you're like, I can't possibly conceive of how all of these things, or both of these things that I want, how I couldn't possibly get both of them at the same time, or all of them at the same time. So that means like I'm gonna have to choose one way or the other. But this is a picture that you're stuck in, that you can only have it one way or the other, that you can only have one of all the things that you want. That's not true here. That's just the energy that you're stuck in. So what is the truth here? When I ask for the truth, it's like these two hills or mountains or whatever you want to call them, they kind of come together. And when they merge, there's just all of this color and all of this energy and this kind of like mixing and swirling that happens here. And they kind of come together to create this entirely new mountain, where these before were like, gentle sloping hills. It's like when they converge, when they come together, they form like the Himalayas or Mount Everest, or just like this gorgeous, breathtaking pinnacle. And that this is what's possible. Like, these things are already on their way. They're already coming together. It's not even at the level of something that your mind can process. Like, in a sense, you don't have anything to do with it at the cognitive processing level. It's like energetically things that are already on their way, things that are already coming into form, things that are already happening. But it's your mind's conception of, well, that can't be, or it would have to look this way, or it would have to look this way, that makes it feel like a stressful thing for you to be, rubbing into the paper and making a hole in the paper. Anything else to know about the truth about this? It's like your mind is trying to, sorry for the barking. Your mind is trying to make sense of something bigger and more beautiful and more full of possibility than it can actually fathom. And so your sense of what's really happening, or what the problem is, or what the decision is not the full picture. It's almost on this like smaller level. It's like the level that's right in front of your face, because your face is so close to this paper as you're drawing. It's like what you're really focused in on here. But it's a bigger thing that's at play, a larger sense of forces coming together and things coming together. So what is there to know about how this energy is impacting you this week, or whenever you're watching or listening to this? There's this like anchor that comes in, and just the message is, be where you are right now. Be where you are right now. It's like an anchoring down into the earth, into the present moment. And watch, like this is the instruction that I'm getting from your spirit, is like anchor in, ground into where you are, and watch as this all comes together. And it's almost like you're watching it on an IMAX screen, or you're looking at the horizon, or it's like, just watch as the beauty of how this all unfolds come together. You don't have to solve it. You don't have to sit there with your face right up against the paper and the pen and scrawling and scratching and being, frantic and frustrated about it. Just ground down, anchor in, and open your vision. Like, look up, look outwards, watch as this sort of happens on its own. All of these things that you've been wanting and wishing for and working towards and praying about and hoping for, or visualizing, manifesting, whatever. I'm not just saying this to be like pie in the sky, like whatever. This is what I'm seeing in the energy, is that these things are on their way. They're coming together, and it's in a bigger way than you could ever fathom or plan for with just your sweet, sweet human mind. So what's the next step then for you to clear through this energy that you're in, of like face really close to the paper and focusing in really intensely with kind of anxiety and stress? What's the next step to clear through that? It's like, I see you pick up a telescope, and it's like you take the telescope and, extend it out so that you can look more into the distance towards everything that's coming together here. So it's like maintaining a vision, connecting a vision to, it's so funny. I had a reading with a client, a personal reading yesterday. I had a very similar imagery. Being where you are now and connecting to the vision of the future. Like, I'm seeing the telescope here. So what is the telescope? What's the next step? How does that come to play in real life here? Well, one thing that it's showing is like taking sort of a backlog view of all of the other things that have come to fruition for you in your life. Things that at one time, maybe years ago, just seemed like a pipe dream, or like that would ever happen, or like a miracle, but that have actually transpired, that have actually come to play. It's almost like take a look back at the all of the, coming back to the scroll of your paper of your life, looking back at the way everything else has transpired and unfolded and how things have come together for you always. And using that as a cushion, a support, a connection to the fact that that's ultimately what's going to be happening in the future. It can't be any other way. Is there anything else to know about this telescope? Any other information? It's like, I see you pull the telescope away and it's like you have the ring of black around your eye, like when somebody pulls a prank on someone and does that. So what's that about? Doing this, trusting, connecting to the long vision in this way is going to bring up all kinds of shadows. It's going to bring up all kinds of fear, all kinds of programming that you can't necessarily see for yourself because it's on your on your own face. But it's going to be bringing these things up, and it's actually bringing these things up so that you can look at them, clear them, work with them, move through them in order to be at the place ultimately where these things come together. It's a time and space thing. Is there anything else to know about that? Any information about how to move through any kind of shadows or programming, etc., that comes up around this? It's showing me a picture of, it's like you floating in a boat on the water, like in a rowboat. And, the waves do their thing. They go up and down. They move around, but you kind of stay steady on the surface. You're floating on the surface. You feel the movement of the water, but you're not drowning in it. You're not overcome by it. You're maintaining a balance, sort of an ease of floating over the water. And I'm like, how can you do that? And it points me right back down to that anchor. Anchoring into the now, anchoring into the present moment. Because what it's showing me is like when you're in the present moment, these waves of emotion or the turbulence of, shadows and just of being human, that those things are far more temporary than we might see or believe or realize because we get caught up in story about them. But if you're actually anchored in and present for the actual experience of the emotion or of the thing in your body, you come to realize that it arises and falls. It arises and fades away. It comes in and out. It's temporary. It's not, you don't get stuck in it if you're present with it. It moves. And so how does this all tie back into what's coming? It's showing me this golden line of energy from you into the distance, into, where these mountains come together. And it's like, you're going to have grace and compassion and forgiveness and love and just so much sweetness with yourself from here to there, from here to the things coming together. That there's still time and space to get through before it comes in, but you need to have that sense of grace and compassion with yourself. And that's how you stay in the boat. That's how you maintain buoyancy and balance amidst the rockiness or the emotions or the difficulty. Okay, is there anything else to know about this picture? Any other information? It's so close. Like these things that are coming in, the picture is showing like you can almost throw, it's like something shoots out of a cannon or I don't know, but something shoots out and it's like, oh, you can hit it from here. Like it's not as far away as you might think it is, or you might believe it is, or as your mind might tell you, like, oh, it's never going to happen, or oh my God, but it's going to be so long or so far away. It's not. And again, I'm not just saying that to make you feel better. It's what I'm seeing in the picture. It's not that far away. It's a stone's throw, literally, away in this picture. And what I'm seeing is all there is to do is stay anchored, stay rooted, stay with your present experience, and open your vision. Look up and watch as it all unfolds. Cool. As always, I needed to hear that one too. Well, thank you, friends, so much for tuning in. As always, I would love to hear if this reading resonates with you. And please, if it does, I invite you to share it with others in your life who might find it interesting or be supported by it as well. I love to hear when it, rings true for you, or when you get something out of it. It really just warms my heart to know that these readings are supportive. So I am sending you so much love. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.